So I went to the Meow Wolf Adultiverse on Wednesday.
Yes.
Some friends, and we were like, surely everyone's going to be dressed up, because how would you not dress up as a cryptid to go to cryptids night?
I mean,
We were pretty much the only people dressed up. There were half a dozen others. We all spotted each other. We're like,
thank you. You also understood the assignment. Everyone
exactly.
else here, not so much.
Yeah, no. I got asked once if I worked there. That was cool. And I have learned that I should not go around with blank scrolls in a little quiver on my hip. I should take the time to turn them into fantasy maps or something, so that when someone says, "Ooh, what's in that?" I can be like, "Ta-da." Instead of being like, "Ta-da, write something." And they're like, "Oh, never mind then."
Oh. These people just sound really boring, honestly. I'm like, what are they even doing at Cryptid Night? If they're not dressed up as cryptids and they're not prepared to write in a scroll.
Right? I mean, there's no helping some people.
It's true.
But for everybody else, there's this.
Hey!
What do we think of the cover? So this is the old cover, and I was like, that doesn't look embossed, and I wanted it to look embossed, and then I discovered a way to make it look embossed, and now I'm like, is it too much?
No, I love it.
Okay.
I think it looks fantastic.
Sweet. All right. That was it. And I'm asking the Kickstarter people, supporters, if they like it too. And if enough of us are on board, that's it. Collapse the waveform, order 250 books, get everything boxed up, and everything's out the door. Like, we're done. We're done. The bags. I didn't show you the bags arrived. Can I go grab a bag?
Showed me. Yeah, go grab a bag.
I'll be right back. So these are the bags.
Oh, those are so cool. Did you screen print that?
I got it screen printed. There was a company on Etsy. And the motif repeats in the book.
I love it.
And this is what it looks like with the deck inside. So it's so
that
perfect.
looks so good.
It's so good. And then the whole package, there it is.
That is so freaking cool.
It's so freaking cool. So yeah, almost there, almost ready to send this little bird out of the nest and then see what people think. I refuse to worry about it, but it's the world. Humans find flaws, so I'm like, someone's gonna hate it. I'm prepared to deal with that.
Well, they are allowed to be wrong if they want to. Also, have you considered at some point putting that symbol on like t-shirts or something?
Oh, I totally should. I absolutely
really
should. Like, just get it into Threadless or Redbubble.
Yeah, Redbubble, and like depending, I mean, who knows where the future goes, but it would also make a cool embroidered patch. It'd make a really cool enamel pin. I know that was something you had thought about at one point.
Yeah. This would be one of 3 enamel pin the designs, because the other 2 would be the shields for the lanthanides and the actinides. But yeah, it's a really pretty little logo, and look at the satinness, and it's just yeah.
It's so cool.
I hope everybody likes the cover. It's a little noisy for me, but I've been looking. I worked on it for hours and hours, so it's one of those things where like your brain just.
For a brain that's not sick of it, it's not coming across noisy to me. I think the other one was a little too simple.
Thank you. Yeah. I feel that.
So I love it.
Cool.
Unrelated to anything, do you want to see what I've been obsessed with?
Yes. Ooh, I haven't tried those. I saw them, but I didn't try them. Are they delicious?
Oh my God. I already love Lindor truffles, but these might be my favorite flavor, the Neapolitan. They are
Ooh,
so good because the
yeah.
outside is the white chocolate with strawberry, and then you have like vanilla and chocolate cream on the inside. Oh, it's so good,
What a great idea.
right? And it says limited edition, and I'm like, no, how limited? Do I need to stock up?
Yeah. I um I think you know that Abby got obsessed with Dylan Hollis, and so we tried one of the Dylan Hollis recipes,
Hmm.
which was the magic peanut butter cookies. 3 ingredients, no flour, no baking powder, just peanut butter, sugar, and an egg, right?
Yes.
We made a batch, and what they taste like is they taste almost exactly like the inside of a peanut butter cup.
See, that doesn't sound too bad.
It was really freaking amazing, actually. But I was like, I need to just dip these in melted chocolate. That needs to be a thing, and then we'll have
Yeah.
homemade peanut butter cups, and we don't have to deal with any of the other shit that Reese's puts in things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get some decent quality chocolate. They'll be better than Reese's.
Oh my god, they'd be so good. Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked them.
Do you?
They had a very they melt in your mouth, but they're not really cookies. They feel more like a candy. A candy stick.
That does sound good. I feel like I have some extra peanut butter. I should look into that.
It's like um hang on, I've got the proportions. It was like a cup of peanut butter, half a cup of sugar, and an egg.
Easy enough.
Bake at 350 for 9 minutes. You could also go check Dylan Hollis because he's charming and fun to watch.
Indeed. Did you see he has a cookbook coming out?
Yeah, he's so excited. I'm like, I get you, buddy.
He's well, I mean, imagine being him and like I don't even know what he's in school for, but he was a college student in Wyoming
Yeah.
who just randomly started doing this and people liked it. Like he never intended to be a cookbook author.
I remember Nice Peter having the same attitude, like, look at me. Do I look like someone whose ambition was to grow up to be a rapper? Oh. And I mean, best case scenario in my tiny world is I become someone who's known by chemists and like scientists as one of those people, and I'll be like,
Did I ever plan to become known in the field of scientific communication?
there it is.
No.
No.
But
No,
here we are.
I would have laughed that idea to scorn.
See, your mistake was you bought a shower curtain.
I bought a shower. It was cute.
It's so cute.
I wanted the Big Bang Theory shower curtain. It's the best. It's still my favorite. But now I look at it and I see hundreds of little creatures.
Oh.
Oh dear. I was going to say something. Oh well, doesn't matter. Shall we read?
Yes, I will be working on this box
Ooh,
tonight.
what you gonna do?
I'm gonna paint it dark blue. I'm in a navy blue place in my life apparently, so I'm painting it blue, and then I'm gonna sponge it with the lighter blue, and then
Ooh,
I have gold, and I'm gonna put stars on it, and then I got this like iridescent top coat. It
nice.
doesn't look like anything in the bottle, but supposedly it's iridescent. So
Right, you'll get a pearly sheen. Oh
yeah,
my
that's
god, I
it.
didn't show you. Do, do, do. I'm right here. Okay, so my corset, I think I showed the internet pictures of. You saw
Yes.
that, right? The book corset.
Mhm.
But this is how the backpack turned out.
Oh, I love it.
And
Oh,
it
that's super cool.
and it held together really nicely. I kept all my stuff in it. It was basically my purse. And this is the name tag I wore.
Nice.
So yeah. Yeah, that was good fun.
I can't believe people didn't dress up.
What
What the fuck?
the fuck?
You got a chance to dress up as a cryptid and you didn't take it, people?
What is wrong with
Excuse
you?
me.
Why?
if I hadn't had to work, I would have just put on my Mothman suit and I don't have a Mothman suit, but I should.
Sheila had a Mothman costume that she wasn't allowed to wear the whole thing because it covered her face. So let it be known that Meow Wolf does not want its people, its patrons covering their faces.
Noted.
And as I try to do between projects, I've been trying to clean the art cave and realizing how very filthy it is.
Yeah, I bought a new vacuum and I did like one swipe across my rug and was horrified. There was how much cat hair in there? So I feel you.
Right? Mine has more to do with the disorganization, where I just put things on random shelves in a moment, like, oh no, I'll get back to that. I never get back to it. And I'm hunting for a couple of items that have vanished completely. So I think I might have to like get all the binders and all the sketchbooks and just KonMari the fuckers. Like, get them all sorted out, get rid of everything that doesn't serve.
It doesn't bring you joy. All right.
Now, where the frick were we?
We were right after the part where Snaga put on a mustache and pretended to be a bard. and then they all went to dinner. Ooh, this paint has nice coverage. Look at that.
Very nice.
I am quite impressed because this is like the cheap folk art paint from Michaels. I thought I'd have to do 2 coats.
Oh, folk art's great. That stuff, I've got tubes of folk art that I've had for 15 years that are still usable. Like they're great.
There we go. Well, I got the right thing then. I hope that deco art is as good because that's my iridescent one.
Oh, I'm sure it will be. Besides, yeah, it's all a matte finish. You're okay with that, right?
Yeah. Well, I have lacquer, which I was actually going to say. I wonder if I should put that on before or after the top coat. Probably after, right? Yeah. Okay.
I think after. You might want to test a little patch on like the back.
Yeah, to make
makes
sure
it less pearlescent, but I would say after.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, we are knights of the city and of the mark, as I hope you observed. Was that a thing that we'd already read?
I think that's right about where we were. They had just they saw Pippin and Merry like serving at the feast, and then I think we got to the end of that section, but I'm not sure.
I can see there's more to. Of course, we read to the end of that section. Yes. We are knights of the city and the mark. Blah. At last, the glad day ended. And when the sun was gone and the round moon rode slowly above the mists of Anduin and flickered through the fluttering leaves, Frodo and Sam sat under the whispering trees amid the fragrance of fair Ithilien. And they talked deep into the night with Merry and Pippin and Gandalf, and after a while Legolas and Gimli joined them. There Frodo and Sam learned much of all that had happened to the company after their fellowship was broken on the evil day at Parthgalen by Rauros Falls. And still there was always more to ask and more to tell. Orcs and talking trees and leagues of grass, galloping riders and glittering caves, white towers and golden halls and battles, tall ships sailing, all these passed before Sam's mind until he felt bewildered. But amidst
all he saw was some rocks. Like Sam got the raw end of this deal.
And polluted rocks.
Oh yes. Yep. and some thorns and some people killing each other.
Oh, and lots of death. Lots of death. But amidst all these wonders, he returned always to his astonishment at the size of Merry and Pippin. He made them stand back to back with Frodo and himself. He scratched his head. Can't understand it at your age, he said, but there it is. You're 3 inches taller than you ought to be, or I'm a dwarf. That you certainly are not, said Gimli. But what did I say? Mortals cannot go drinking ent draughts and expect no more to come of them than of a pot of beer. Ent draughts, said Sam. There you go about ents again. But what they are beats me. Why, it will take weeks before we get all these things sized up. Weeks indeed, said Pippin. And then Frodo will have to be locked up in a tower in Minas Tirith and write it all down. Otherwise, he will forget half of it, and poor old Bilbo will be dreadfully disappointed. At length Gandalf rose. The hands of the king are hands of healing, dear friends, he said. But you went to the very brink of death ere he recalled you, putting forth all his power, and sent you into the sweet forgetfulness of sleep. And though you have indeed slept long and blessedly, still it is now time to sleep again. And not only Sam and Frodo here, said Gimli, but you too, Pippin. I love you, if only because of the pains you have cost me, which I shall never forget.
Gimli is such a New Jersey Jewish aunt.
Yes. Nor shall I forget finding you on the hill of the last battle. But for Gimli the dwarf, you would have been lost then. But at least I know now the look of a hobbit's foot, though it be all that can be seen under a heap of bodies. And when I heaved that great carcass off you, I made sure you were dead. Could have torn out my beard. And it is only a day yet since you were first up and abroad again. To bed now you go, and so shall I. Thanks for pointing it out, Gimli, because you were already my favorite character, but the fact that you combed the hill for Pippin...
And all you saw was his foot, and you pulled him out of a pile?
You pushed the carcass of a 10-foot-tall troll off of our boy. Gimli, man. If you had to choose any member of the Fellowship to have your back in a fight, gotta be Gimli. A fight, a party, an explore, anything.
To give a speech and do, like, diplomacy, like, literally Gimli is the best.
Yeah.
Other than Sam. But Gimli's the best for, like, more... Public relations, exactly. Sam's too self-effacing for that.
Exactly.
Bugger. I got paint on the hinges.
It'll scratch off. It'll scratch off when it's dry.
And it doesn't matter that much. There are hinges on the back. Like, it's not that big a deal. Look at that. One coat.
That's really good coverage.
Right?
Maybe.
Like, I don't even think I really need a second one. You can see, like, there's a couple of spots maybe, but...
I don't know. They kind of add to the textural if you're going for a night sky.
Right? Yeah, maybe I will leave them. Because then, yeah, I'm going to, like, sponge over it, so it's not going to be even anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
And the back is, like, super even.
Very nice.
I'm very impressed with this color. Also, apparently you can use this to paint on glass. It's multi-surface.
Neat.
I don't know why I would want to do that, but you never know.
Glass painting is really cool. One of what we're currently thinking about spending way too much money on is windows for the house. Mm-hmm. And where we might save some money is not have them haul away the old windows, because then we would have a bunch of glass ready for projects. And if we if we kept a bunch of glass around, I would definitely paint on it. Jason is exploring the concept of those sand art things that panes of glass, and that You
know what else is fun to do if you paint it on the glass is stained glass. Ooh. You can paint on it, like do some like marbled effects, and then cut it apart and put it back together as stained glass.
Oh, that's a great idea. Boy, all right. And I, said Legolas, shall walk in the woods of this fair land, which is rest enough. In days to come. Yes, like we asked you, Leggy.
We know you're an elf, and that's how you sleep, is by walking around in the woods. We get it.
Or laying on your back with your hands crossed on your breast and your eyes open like some kind of fucking vampire.
All right, at some point we need to explore the elf-vampire overlap. But anyway.
In days to come, if my elven lord allows, some of our folk shall remove hither. And when we come, it shall be blessed. For a while. For a while. a month, a life, 100 years of men. Yeah, you don't age either. We get it, buddy. But Anduin is near, and Anduin leads down to the sea. To the sea. Poetry alert. To the sea, to the sea, the white gulls are crying, the wind is blowing, and the white foam is flying west, west away, blah, da, da, blah, blah. Sweet are the voices in the lost isle calling. In Erosea, in elven home that no man can discover, where the leaves fall not, land of my people forever. And so, singing, Legolas went away down the hill.
By the sea, by the sea, by the beautiful sea. I long to be beside your side, beside the seaside, by the beautiful sea. All I can think of.
I want him to be a like a metalhead. Every time Legolas starts singing.
He's just like,
oh shit, do you hear them call like the voices of my people that have gone before me?
Oh my god, it really works. Okay. And like, you know the metal font that looks like twigs and branches? It just says like affiliated. Oh, okay. Headcanon accepted.
Okay.
The singing of elves is actually like screamo metal. When everyone's like, oh, they're beautiful songs, and then it's just like
oh, when Galadriel is singing in Quenya.
And Celeborn's in the background, like, ah! Just doing this background screaming.
All the gnomes start headbanging.
And the hair is just whipping back and forth.
That's why they have long hair.
That is totally why they have long hair.
Oh my god.
I'm surprised we never thought of it before.
It's so obvious now. Long are the webs on the last sword falling.
Yes, exactly.
And so, singing, Legolas went away down the hill. Dopplering away. Then the others also departed, and Frodo and Sam went to their beds and slept. In the morning they rose again in hope and peace, and they spent many days in Ithilien. For the field of Cormallen, where the host was now encamped, was near to Henithanin, and the stream that flowed from its falls could be heard in the night as it rushed down through its rocky gate, and passed through the flowery meads into the tides of Anduin by the Isle of Carandros. The hobbits wandered here and there, visiting again the places that they had passed before. Sam hoped always in some shadow of the woods or secret glade to catch, maybe, a glimpse of the great Oliphant. And when he learned that at the siege of Gondor there had been a great number of these beasts, but that they were all destroyed, he thought it a sad loss. Which is true, Sam. Thank you.
Which is true, yeah.
Yeah. Well, one can't be everywhere at once, I suppose, he said. But I missed a lot, seemingly. Yes, Sam, you missed a lot.
Yes.
In the meanwhile, the host made ready for the return to Minas Tirith. The weary rested, and the hurt were healed. For some had laboured and fought much with the remnants of the Easterlings and Southrons until all were subdued. And latest of all, those returned who had passed into Mordor and destroyed the fortresses in the north of the land. Once again, I'm picturing our guys using the gunpowder. Because otherwise, how? Very big levers?
Well, what was our other What was our other theory when they destroyed the bridge? I can't remember
That
what
they'd gotten high on the fumes from the burning flowers and just imagined that they broke it.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, probably not that one. It would have to be the gunpowder.
But at the last, when the month of May was drawing near, the captains of the West set out again, and they went aboard ship with all their men, and they sailed from Cair Andros down Anduin to Osgiliath. There they remained for one day, and the day after they came to the green fields of the Pelennor and saw again the white towers under tall Mindolluin, the city of the men of Gondor, last memory of Westernesse, that had passed through the darkness and fire to a new day. There in the midst of the fields they set up their pavilions and awaited the morning. For it was the eve of May, and the king would enter his gates with the rising of the sun.
Which is very symbolic, but he has already been inside. Just saying.
You're not the only one. Yorith has a speech.
I got rolled.
The steward and the king. Over the city of Gondor, doubt and great dread had hung. Fair weather and clear sun had seemed but a mockery to men whose days held little hope, and who looked each morning for news of doom. Their lord was dead and burned. Dead lay the king of Rohan in their citadel, and the new king that had come to them in the night was gone again to a war with powers too dark and terrible for any might or valor to conquer. And no news came. After the host left Morgul Vale and took the northward road beneath the shadow of the mountains, no messenger had returned, nor any rumor of what was passing in the brooding east.
Wait, they didn't tell anybody that they won?
Not yet. They haven't won yet. We're going back in time a bit.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, are they just camping in Ithilien and not telling anybody that it's fine now?
No, we're going back to March.
Check.
It's March now, everybody. When the captains were but 2 days gone, the Lady Eowyn bade the women who tended her, to bring her raiment, as she would not, and she would not be gainsaid. Gainsaid?
Gainsaid, I think.
But Rose, anyway. Whatever. She would not be argued with. When they had clothed her and set her arm in a sling of linen, she went to the warden of the houses of healing. Sir, she said, I am in great unrest, and I cannot lie longer in sloth. Lady, he answered, you are not yet healed, and I was commanded to tend you with especial care. You should not have risen from your bed for 7 days yet, or so I was bidden. I beg you to go back. I am healed, she said. Healed at least in body, save my left arm only, and that is at ease. But I shall sicken anew if there is naught that I can do. Are there no tidings of war? The women can tell me nothing. There are no tidings, said the warden, save that the lords have ridden to Morgul Vale, and men say that the new captain out of the north is their chief. A great lord is that, and a healer, and it is a thing passing strange to me that the healing hand should also wield the sword. It is not thus in Gondor now, though once it was so, if old tales be true, but for long years we healers have only sought to patch the rents made by the men of swords, though we should still have enough to do without them. The world is full enough of hurts and mischances without wars to multiply them. It needs but one foe to breed a war, not two, Master Warden, answered Eowyn. And those who have not swords can still die upon them. Would you have the folk of Gondor gather you herbs only when the Dark Lord gathers armies? And it is not always good to be healed in body, nor is it always evil to die in battle, even in bitter pain. Were I permitted in this dark hour, I would choose the latter. The warden looked at her. Tall she stood there, her eyes bright in her white face, her hand clenched as she turned and gazed out of his window that opened to the east. He sighed and shook his head. After a pause, she turned to him again. Is there no deed to do? She said. Who commands in this city? I do not rightly know, he answered. Such things are not my care. There is a marshal over the riders of Rohan, and the Lord Hurin, I am told, commands the men of Gondor. But the Lord Faramir is by right the steward of the city. Where can I find him? In this house, lady. He was sorely hurt, but he is now set again on the way to health. But I do not know. Will you not bring me to him? Then you will know.
God, I have so much empathy for Eowyn right now.
Yeah.
I've had a number of meetings in the last week where it's sort of like, this is the thing that is happening, and then it's like, well, go see if what thing is happening. I just told you the thing that's happening. Oh, look, this thing is happening. No shit, really, you don't say.
Oh, yeah.
Bring me to him, then you will know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
The Lord Faramir was walking alone in the garden of the Houses of Healing, and the sunlight warmed him, and he felt life run new in his veins. But his heart was heavy, and he looked out over the walls eastward. And coming, the warden spoke his name. He turned and saw the Lady Eowyn of Rohan, and he was moved with pity, for he saw that she was hurt, and his clear sight perceived her sorrow and unrest, because
he's perfect.
My lord, said the warden, here is the Lady Eowyn of Rohan. She rode with the king and was sorely hurt, and dwells now in my keeping. But she is not content. She wishes to speak to the steward of the city. Do not misunderstand him, lord, said Eowyn. It is not lack of care that grieves me. No houses could be fairer for those who desire to be healed. But I cannot lie in sloth, idle, caged. I looked for death in battle, but I have not died, and battle still goes on. At a sign from Faramir, the warden bowed and departed. What would you have me do, lady? Said Faramir. I also am a prisoner of the healers. He looked at her, and being a man whom pity deeply stirred, it seemed to him that her loveliness amid her grief would pierce his heart. Good thing she's not ugly, or we wouldn't be able to feel any empathy.
Well, that and like White Knight syndrome much? Jeez.
Right? Fuck. And she looked at him and saw the grave tenderness in his eyes, and yet knew, for she was bred among men of war, that here was one whom no rider of the mark would outmatch in battle.
Yeah. So they both got hot pants anyway.
What do you wish? He said again. If it lies in my power, I will do it. I would have you command this warden and bid him let me go, she said. But though her words were still proud, her heart faltered, and for the first time she doubted herself. She guessed that this tall man, both stern and gentle, and handsome and rugged, with eyes like the sea after a storm. Anyway, might think her merely wayward, like a child that has not the firmness of mind to go on with a dull task to the end. I myself am in the warden's keeping, answered Faramir, nor have I yet taken up my authority in the city. But had I done so, I should still listen to his counsel, and should not cross his will in matters of his craft, unless in some great need. But I do not desire healing, she said. I wish to ride to war like my brother Eomer, or better, like Theoden the king, for he died and has both honor and peace. It is too late, lady, to follow the captains, even if you had the strength, said Faramir. Oh, she totally does. You all underestimate her.
Right. Not that it would be a good idea, mind you, but she could do it.
Yeah. But death in battle may come to us all yet, willing or unwilling. You will be better prepared to face it in your own manner, if while there is still time, you do as the healer commanded. You and I, we must endure with patience the hours of waiting. She did not answer, but as he looked at her, it seemed to him that something in her softened, as though a bitter frost were yielding to the first faint presage of spring. Careful, because when that freezes up again, you get black ice
Yeah.
on your neck.
And those really nasty, like, ruts where mud
Ooh.
thawed and then froze again. I hate those things.
Oh, they're rough. A tear sprang in her eye and fell down her cheek like a glistening raindrop. Her proud
Oh my
head
God.
drooped a little. Oh, Eowyn.
Oh, I didn't realize I was completely out of frame there. I'm like holding it up to display it, and I'm way out there. Oh, look, blue.
Blue! From here, it looks TARDIS blue.
It actually is pretty TARDIS blue.
I haven't watched Doctor Who in a couple years now. I'm kind of sad.
Yeah, I've been out of the loop. Russell T Davies took it back over, though.
That would be nice. I did like what Russell T Davies did with it. I stopped watching when the Jodie Whittaker doctor met the Master again. I was like, can we please not with the fucking Master?
I think I stopped watching sometime during 12 because I hated Clara.
Yeah, I remember that.
I have probably ranted to you many times about how much I hated Clara.
I didn't hate Clara as much as I didn't like Matt Smith. I know that that's not like allowed, but I couldn't stand
It's
him.
allowed.
He was not the Doctor to me, not once. I kept waiting for him to leave, and he kept staying and staying and staying.
Eccleston will always be my Doctor.
Got a soft spot for Tennant, and
Tennant's good too.
And Pertwee.
I haven't watched any of the original Who. I really need to.
Yeah. Patrick Troughton is the one I relate to the most, but Pertwee is like, he never had a TARDIS. He didn't get it, like there was an accident, so he had an old like yellow car named Bessie instead, and he was always getting into fist fights while wearing a velvet dandy jacket, and I just loved that. Just everything. I'm gonna make a shirt at some point with the picture of that car that just says "I remember Bessie" in a Doctor Who font. It's gonna be a thing.
That sounds delightful. All right, I think this is dry enough to sponge paint.
Okay. That's a nice thing about craft paint. It's like whoosh, dry.
Yep, exactly.
A tear fell down her cheek like a glistening raindrop. Her proud head drooped a little. Then quietly, more as if speaking to herself than to him, but the healers would have me lie abed 7 days yet, she said, and my window does not look eastward. Her voice was now that of a maiden young and sad. Faramir smiled, though his heart was filled with pity. Your window does not look eastward, he said. That can be amended. In this I will command the warden. If you will stay in this house in our care, lady, and take your rest, then you shall walk in this garden in the sun as you will, and you shall look east, whither all our hopes have gone. And here you will find me walking and waiting, and also looking east. It would ease my care if you would speak to me, or walk at whiles with me. Then she raised her head and looked him in the eyes again. A color came in her pale face. How should I ease your care, my lord, she said, and I do not desire the speech of living men. Would you have my plain answer? He said. I would. These two will communicate really well as a couple. I just sense it.
Yep.
Then, Eowyn of Rohan, I say to you that you are beautiful. In the valleys of our hills there are flowers fair and bright, and maidens fairer still. But neither flower nor lady have I seen till now in Gondor so lovely and so sorrowful. It may be that only a few days are left ere darkness falls upon our world, and when it comes I hope to face it steadily. But it would ease my heart if while the sun yet shines, I could see you still. For you and I have both passed under the wings of the shadow, and the same hand drew us back. Alas, not me, Lord, she said. Shadow lies on me still. Look not to me for healing. I am a shield maiden, and my hand is ungentle. But I thank you for this, at least, that I need not keep to my chamber. I will walk abroad, by the grace of the steward of the city. And she did him a courtesy, and walked back to the house. But Faramir for a long while walked alone in the garden, and his glance now strayed rather to the house than to the eastward walls. But you got shot down, buddy. You did. That was a very clear.
Like that was not subtle.
No.
Speaking of not subtle, this did not entirely go the way that I planned.
Yeah, it looks more like clouds in the night sky than like bands of stars.
Well, I mean, it doesn't have any stars on it yet, but yeah, it's not, which clouds was kind of where I was going, but I didn't want this much contrast. So I think I'm going to sponge over it with the darker blue.
Good plan. A little bit goes a long way.
Yeah, clearly. Am I good at this? No.
What you need for the sponging is like a sea sponge. You can create really beautiful effects with that.
Yeah, but I don't have one.
All right, good luck.
I got a kitchen sponge.
That would actually be better than that thing.
Okay. One moment.
All right. He's back. Ooh, she shot me down. But she's pretty. Pretty people don't reject other pretty people. There must be something going on. I'll play the long game. Because I'm Faramir. Faramir knows when to chill out. Because he's perfect. I really can't see. There you go. Yeah, that's going to be better. Just kind of smear some paint across the surface of it. Don't let it get like deep. Use your finger and just like go shonk, like squeegee it on there just a little bit. And then dab. Don't move it when you dab it, just dab it. Did you mute yourself? You did. You muted yourself. There you
go. I was saying squeegee, and then I said
dab.
Other corner. Dab. It's not leaving any paint.
Okay.
This corner's
more than that. More than that. Definitely more than that.
Okay.
That's not what. Okay, no. It's just
what?
Okay, so do you remember the difference between you putting hummus on a bagel and me putting hummus on a bagel? Yeah. That's happening right now. You need to take your finger and go all across the surface.
Like flare? Flare?
That's better. That's a little better. Yeah. Now try that. Just dab it on the light blue. See what it does. Dab.
It's helping a little. I think
you can get it a little bit wet, and it'll go a little farther.
I do have a wet corner here.
Yeah, wet. Okay. A little bit of moisture is always better than none. When he returned to his chamber, he called for the warden and heard all that he could tell of the Lady of Rohan. Oh, now you're a stalker. Great.
Creeper.
But I doubt not, Lord, said the warden, after talking for 45 minutes. You know he totally did.
Oh, 100%.
That you would learn more from the halfling that is with us, for he was in the riding of the king, and with the lady at the end, they say. So Merry was sent to Faramir, and while that day lasted, they talked long together, and Faramir learned much, more even than Merry put into words, and he thought that he understood now something of the grief and unrest of Éowyn of Rohan. And in the fair evening Faramir and Merry walked in the garden, but she did not come. But in the morning, as Faramir came from the houses, he saw her, as she stood upon the walls, and she was clad all in white, and gleamed in the sun. He called to her, and she came down, and they walked on the grass, or sat under a green tree together, now in silence, now in speech. Each day after they did likewise. And the warden, looking from his window, was glad in heart, for he was a healer, and his care was lightened. And certain it was that, heavy as was the dread and foreboding of those days upon the hearts of men, still those two of his charges prospered and grew daily in strength. And at least you can imagine that they're having long conversations and like sharing worldviews and stories, and it's not just a freaking Disney romance.
Yeah, they're not like, oh, my prince, which, Éowyn wouldn't do anyway.
Never. Not without stabbing a bloke.
Right.
So the fifth day came since the Lady Éowyn went first to Faramir, and they stood now together once more upon the walls of the city and looked out. No tidings had yet come, and all hearts were darkened. The weather, too, was bright no longer. It was cold. A wind that had sprung up in the night was blowing now keenly from the north, and it was rising, but the lands about looked grey and drear. They were clad in warm raiment and heavy cloaks, and over all the Lady Éowyn wore a great blue mantle of the colour of deep summer night, like that box. And it was set with silver stars about hem and throat. Faramir had sent for this robe and had wrapped it about her. He thought that she looked fair and queenly indeed as she stood there at his side. That's much better, isn't it?
Right? Okay, I'm trying to get it without the shine. There we go.
Yeah.
That's what I was going for.
Perfect.
Okay, now to do the same thing but better on 4 more sides.
4 more sides. You don't need to do the bottom.
No.
I promise.
No. Trust me, that I did know.
The mantle was wrought for his mother, Finduilas of Amroth, who died untimely, and was to him but a memory of loveliness in far days, and of his first grief. He was 4 when she died.
Dude.
And her robe seemed to him raiment fitting for the beauty and sadness of Éowyn. But she now shivered beneath the starry mantle, and she looked northward, above the grey hitherlands, into the eye of the cold wind, where far away the sky was hard and clear. "What do you look for, Éowyn?" said Faramir. "Does not the black gate lie yonder?" said she. "And must he not now become thither? It is 7 days since he rode away." "7 days," said Faramir. "But think not ill of me if I say to you, they have brought me both a joy and a pain that I never thought to know. Joy to see you, but pain because now the fear and doubt of this evil time are grown dark indeed. Éowyn, I would not have this world end now, or lose so soon what I have found." "Lose what you have found, Lord," she answered. But she looked at him gravely, and her eyes were kind. "I know not what in these days you have found that you could lose. Not shooting you down quite as thoroughly as last time."
A little bit.
"But come, my friend, let us not speak of it." The friend zone's not real, guys. I hate to tell you. It's like cancel culture. A woman calling you her friend is adorable, and you should always relish it. "Let us not speak of it. Let us not speak at all. I stand upon some dreadful brink, and it is utterly dark in the abyss before my feet. But whether there is any light behind me, I cannot tell, for I cannot turn yet."
Antidepressants, honestly.
Mm-hmm. I wait for some stroke of doom. Yes, we wait for the stroke of doom, said Faramir. They said no more, and it seemed to them as they stood upon the wall that the wind died, and the light failed, and the sun was bleared, and all sounds in the city or in the lands about were hushed. Neither wind, nor voice, nor bird call, nor rustle of leaf, nor their own breath could be heard. The very beating of their hearts was stilled. Time halted. As they stood so, their hands met and clasped, though they did not know it, and still they waited, for they knew not what. Then presently it seemed to them that above the ridges of the distant mountains another vast mountain of darkness rose, towering up like a wave that should engulf the world, and about it lightnings flickered. Then a tremor ran through the earth, and they felt the walls of the city quiver. A sound like a sigh went up from all the lands about them, and their hearts beat suddenly again. It reminds me of Numenor, said Faramir, and wondered to hear himself speak. Of Numenor? Said Éowyn. Yes, said Faramir, of the land of Westernesse that foundered, and of the great dark wave climbing over the green lands and above the hills and coming on, darkness unescapable. I often dream of it. Then you think that the darkness is coming, said Éowyn. Darkness unescapable. And suddenly she drew close to him. No, said Faramir, looking into her face. It was but a picture in the mind. I do not know what is happening. The reason of my waking mind tells me that great evil has befallen, and we stand at the end of days. But my heart says nay, and all my limbs are light, and a hope and joy are come to me that no reason can deny. Éowyn, Éowyn, White Lady of Rohan, in this hour I do not believe that any darkness will endure. And he stooped and kissed her brow.
Aww.
No, and it's 8:00. We aren't at a line break, but we're like a paragraph and a half away from a song, so
that works.
Oh, goodness gracious. So, yes. Oh.
Yes.
Faramir and Éowyn. Those are some implied conversations that I haven't really thought on yet. That would be fun. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, what would they be talking about?
Right? Tell their stories of their fathers, of battles, places they've been, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Right? And Éowyn did. So in the movie, Éowyn went to Helm's Deep and all. I don't think she went there. She stayed at Edoras, didn't she?
But
she did go to Harrowdale.
She did go to Harrowdale, yeah. I think she stayed at Edoras. That sounds right. Also, we have the back of the box, which I don't like as much.
Oh,
but it's fine because it's okay. Back of the box, which I don't like as much, but it is fine because it's the back of the box.
Yeah.
Side of the box.
Ooh.
Which I'm liking the way where this is going.
Yeah.
And then I'll do some more around the front and the other side.
Nice. I dig. It looks awesome.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. One of the things about Éowyn and Faramir is that neither of them is ever stuck for a speech. You know what I mean?
Yes. They're going to have some incredible arguments when they're married.
Oh, yeah.
Also,
part of my cryptid costume was that I took thinned down black acrylic paint and just covered my hands. And about halfway into the night, Ruth was like, "Oh shit, those aren't gloves."
Well, I like that, but blue.
Yep. Now you just got to go.
I'm gonna pass on going because I need to paint the rest of this box and then I need to dye my hair green, and I think I don't need blue paint on my hands for that.
It's true. And funny story, I was real pissed off because Wednesday night and Thursday night my Fitbit wasn't registering my sleep, and I was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" And I took it off, and there was black paint on the receptors. That, yeah, really easy fix right there. I even Googled it. That's the embarrassing bit. I was like, "Why isn't it registering my sleep?" And it was like, "Could the receptors be blocked in some way?" And I was like, maybe.
No.
Might have paint all over them.
That's great.
Right.
All right. Well, I will see you next week and
We shall both
show
be
you
green.
how this.
We shall both be green.
We shall both be green, and I'll show you how the box came out.
Brilliant. All right. I love you.
I love you too.
Cuidado.
Veamos.